Alright, so this is gonna be in depth, a deep situation thing. So, now I'm gonna go in depth of how the whole situation back in 1994 when the whole situation with the Los Tres Monkeys from Pittsburgh, and then you have the Pittsburgh. You gotta remember, there's different gangs out there in Pittsburgh, California. Now, don't misconstrue Pittsburgh, PA, and no, we're not talking about Pittsburgh, PA. We're talking about Pittsburgh when there was the Los Tres Monkeys, and this goes into when the West Wapsta nortenos. There was Woody Wood, Blackbird, Snoop. If you have not seen the documentary, there's Snoop Robertson. Now, we'll get into that. We'll get into this whole thing. So, it was so in line that there's a whole thing with the quinceañera. If you haven't seen the documentary itself, Snoop Robertson took the fall for the whole situation because there was an initiative, and this is right around 96, 97. This is a little fast forward. Now, at this time, when the whole there was a family gathering that was at the Veterans Hall at the they turned it into a quinceañera for a 16-year-old girl, and that's in a Mexican term. Now, with that being said, it got so bad that Woody Wood had a shotgun, and he aimed it at this individual that was a Sureño, and it came about, and it got bad. Now, back to the whole situation of 1994, when there was a house party, okay? There was a house party, Blackbird got struck, was killed. Now, I personally, and I'm going to say this, Big Tone, and if you have never heard of Big Tone, he's from the same neighborhood. Now, Big Tone and all of them, Woody Wood was a solid individual. He stayed solid. Now, there's some cases that the whole situation, there was a female involved that we don't know if it was true or not, if there was a female even involved in this. They say there was a female, but personally for me, I don't know. There's a whole list that goes into this, and I would have to initially do it in parts. This would be a part 1 video, and I would have to you know what I mean, have to do different parts. Um, but it initiatively, it got so bad that it started spiraling downhill. Then many years later, and Snoop Robertson um, is doing like, he's been in prison for 31 or 32 years, something like that. Um, correct me if I'm wrong. You can. But you know, he's been, and he stayed solid. He stayed solid for forever. And when they put Snoop Robertson in the uh, the hole because he didn't want didn't want to cooperate, acted like nothing was happening. And you know, when people put their mind of the reoccurrence of things, I don't. I I mean, I know somewhat, but I don't know everything because I wasn't there. I wasn't even. I'm a whole different individual. But yes, and I do listen to Woody Wood and Big Tone, Louie Lou, and all those good guys. Yes, I do listen to norteno rappers, and you know, I there's very individual, and probably I'm not an NF. I will never. I'm Native American. I'm Native. I stick with Native policy and politics because that's just me. Because what I stand for. But that's a whole other subject. We'll get into that very soon. But we're going to break down certain individuals, especially with this whole case. So, if you have not seen the documentary, I'll go in depth. If you don't know some things, I'll try to explain it more in depth of detail. So, much love and respect. This is a part 1.